Listen, I'm glad that you've continued to push forward and all three of you have built something so beautiful. I'm going to be tuned in on Sunday and rooting for all three of you, Matt, Stephanie, Otis, and Dylan. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
This right here is young Dylan from Nickelodeon. What's going on, bro? How are you, man? All right. And he's a big music fan. And he'll have a couple of questions for all of our music artists here today. Kendrick Lamar, you get to talk to. You excited?
Yes, sir. You already know.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we have the honor of continuing our pregame lineup with some very special guests. Please help us welcome the pregame artists singing and performing on Sunday. Lettucey, Trombone Shorty, Lauren Daigle, and John Baptiste.
Go down. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
So now, the four of you have at least three things in common. I'd say one, you're all great musicians. Two, of course, you're all performing at the halftime show. And three, you're all from Louisiana. Like, does that already breed some sort of camaraderie, a bit of comfort, knowing that you're all from this beautiful state?
Absolutely. It's all family, community effort, and that's what we do here in New Orleans, and it's a great thing to represent the city.
That's beautiful. So now the sweet spot, obviously, when you get out there Sunday, is you want to respect the original, but you want to add your own flair, right? So Lettucey, we'll start with you. What are some of the plans, some of the insights you can give us? Because I know you have some vocal acrobatics that you love to give us.
I'm just going to be myself, and I love the arrangement that Adam Blackstone put together for me. Wonderful. He just won a Grammy, too. It's crazy. But I'm excited. I'm going to represent NOLA Bay, New Orleans and Oakland, too.
Oakland, yeah. And Trombone Shorty, what about your rendition? What do you have planned?
I think me and Lauren, we put together a very New Orleans brass band street feel to it, and it merges some rhythms of Lafayette, where she's from, and we just capture in that moment. So I think it's going to be something that you can tap your feet to, but still respectable to the original. You'll be able to definitely understand what we're doing. I'm looking forward to that.
What about you, Lauren?
When I got the call, I was freaking out, okay? I was so excited. But the part that got me on my feet was when he sent the rough draft, if you will, of what we were going to be doing. And, when you plan it out, you think, oh, okay, maybe it'll be a ballad or whatever, just because of how that song is originally. No. He said, no, we're going to put a little spin on this. And it feels so good. It feels so alive. It's very true to the representation that we're allowed to have in this city. It's beautiful. I love the musicianship that comes out of this city, and to be able to represent that means the world. So it's hats off to you, because you came up with an incredible arrangement. Yeah.
And John? Listen, this guy's hard to contain. So what you doing on Sunday, man?
Well, I think that music can really communicate deep, profound truth. And I believe that this country and our songs and our iconography, our messaging, our ideals, all the complexity of all of it, has a real important place as we negotiate and continue to redefine it. And I think when you listen to music, it's an amazing capturing of that, because it's constantly evolving while it also is remaining the same. So that's why I love creating music, because you can take from the past, bring it into the present, and forecast the future. And that's what I do every single time. I try, at least.
Wow, that's very well said.
You
And
guys could clap for that. You know what I mean? You guys could clap for these people. Don't be afraid.
you know, it's like speaking of history and looking to the future. So Lettucey is going to be performing "Lift Every Voice" and "Sing." And just a little history fun fact: you seem like a lady who would enjoy some history. This song was performed publicly for the first time all the way back in 1900. So now we're looking at 125 years later. You're performing this song not only in your hometown of New Orleans, but also simultaneously on a global stage. Like, what does it mean to you to be able to perform this anthem on the stage?
125 years of legacy, American history, culture. Every person here, this song, I'm overwhelmed. I'm honored. I feel like I'm in alignment with greatness to stand in this moment and sing that song. So, yeah, that's all I can say about it. I'm honored.
That's
I'm
beautiful.
about to start crying.
I know, I see it.
Sorry.
Listen, the Black National Anthem is, it's a powerful song. And we're honored to have you, because I know you personally, and I know what you're capable of, and I know what you're going to channel up there, and we're all going to feel it. So thank you very much.
Can I ask a question for anyone, how you contain yourself? Because some of these songs are so emotional, and when you're there performing and you're in the moment, your heart's really in it. Do you ever get to that point where you feel a little choked up and you have to somehow dial it back and stay focused?
Well, I think I'm choked up the whole time, even the phone call. You know what I mean? It starts there. Can you come and sing? But I'm used to this in my career, just like Mahalia and Marian Anderson, standing in moments, representing the past and the future and the current state of the world. I'm used to that pressure. So I just remember who I'm doing it for. I remember my ancestors. I remember everyone waiting for this moment to feel hopeful and to feel represented. So yeah, I do get choked up. I'm choked up the whole time, but I have a job to do. That's what I think about.
Now, John, you performed one of the most popular renditions of the Star Spangled Banner. And in the last 5 years. So what's your inspiration this time?
I'm thinking about my grandfather who just passed. My brother Troy, we played at his funeral. Try not to get choked up here. But he was, anything great about me, he was one of the blueprints of that. And he was 17 years old and was the first wave to integrate the Navy, served his country. And I think about a lot of people in my life who have represented what I believe this song is about and should be about at its highest aspirational level. So when I channel that, it makes it feel like it's me, but it's way bigger than me. So I'm just a vessel for that energy in the world to continue. And if that can happen, I might get choked up. But it's bigger than anything, because the energy transcends, even if, you get a little bit of a mist, But I think when we're in the moment, when you're channeling, it's almost beyond emotion. It's a spiritual channel that happens, and you're not present, you're watching. So that's really the goal always for me.
That's a great goal. That's incredible. And, Lauren and Trombone Shorty, you touched on it a bit earlier, but you both come from pretty different musical backgrounds. And in true New Orleans style, you are going to blend those genres for a beautiful rendition. And so we'd love to hear just a little bit more about what it was like sitting down
That's
together
incredible.
and blending those styles.
Lauren.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. We actually, before we did it, we talked for like 2 hours just about New Orleans and different things, and then we got it in and we recorded it. I mean, just the idea of it, but blending our styles together. The common ground there is Louisiana, and there's rhythms that we both share from Lafayette and New Orleans that fits well with what we do, from the brass band style of music to the Zydeco music and Cajun music that she grew up listening to. And we just try to put that together almost like in a pot of gumbo. We just put everything in there and it all works out and sounds okay to me.
You know, when I was a little girl, my grandfather would put me on his feet and say, you gotta know how to dance. To live in Louisiana, you gotta know how to dance. And when I hear the rendition that we're gonna sing, it really does remind me of those moments of dancing in the kitchen. And growing up, I grew up on Cajun Zydeco music, but I would come to New Orleans to fill my soul with the brass bands. I mean, I remember sitting on street corners and just my jaw being dropped to the floor. And, you know, there's so many incredible musicians in this city that are profound. Like, they could go into any studio in any part of the country, the most incredible studios and the mom and pop studios, you know, and blow people out of the water. And to be able to be a part of that synergy and that current that's flowing through here, I think the common thread that we kind of touched on earlier is family. Like, really, Troy, we did a music video, gosh, was that like 2 years ago or something when you came over? And at the end, he wrapped his arm around my shoulder and he said, you have a brother in me now. You have a brother in me. And that meant so much. And to be able to represent that thing, that connection, I guess, you know, it's more than just us. It's how the whole city functions, whether it's music or food or culture, you know, it's how the whole city, we look after each other. And I think that's the most beautiful part, to be able to represent. And you'll hear it in the sound.
Question for all of you guys. You know, when you prepare for performance, now that you're tapping into your spirit, you're tapping into your community, you're tapping into culture, but it helps you gain a greater perspective and a connection, not only to yourself, but did you guys gain a greater connection to these songs in any way? We'll start with you, John.
I'm always trying to get a greater understanding of what is it that a song actually is. What is a song? And what are we doing with these energies that we create when we sing a lyric or a melody? And what's inside of a melody? When you hear a melody, why does it make you feel this way? Why has it lasted for so long? How can we think of melodies as building blocks for other melodies or other rhythms or other inspiration, you know? So when I'm thinking about one song, I'm thinking about all of them. And that's been my practice with music is how do you make everything holistic, like life? We're living. We're here. And in approaching this song, I'm thinking more about my life and how my life can be something that honors the country and also honors the lives of everybody who's watching in the different ways, the universality of our shared humanity. So I don't think about music when I'm approaching music. I would reframe the thought of that. I think about life. And yeah.
And let us see, for you, any greater, deeper understanding as you prepared for this performance, or any performance for that matter?
I'm always thinking, like John, life as well, but also the moment. I think of what is the moment, what is the goal of the moment? Because I'm usually called upon for a moment, you know? And so I have to think of all those things: ancestral, spiritual, the people, how to please the people. And then I let all that go and think, it's bigger than you. God, help me execute what is the story. And then that's it for me. Yeah, I'm just being honest. That's what I do.
Beautiful, beautiful. In these major moments and milestones you guys have accomplished in your career, where does this one rank Lauren, we'll start with you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this would be the milestone, I would say. It's pretty incredible. You know, it's incredible to be able to share it too. Like, you know, sometimes you do things on your own and it's great, but to be able to share it, that goes so much deeper and so much further. And just sitting on this sofa with this assortment of people is just unbelievable. Like, to be in your hometown and to be able to sing a song that you love and you grew up. I mean, I remember being in grade school, we would do the like honor to the servicemen every single Veterans Day, and we would sing this song, and I remember it meaning so much to me then. I had no idea that 20 years later, 25 years later, let's be honest, I'd be singing it, you know, with friends, and that means so much to me, really does.
You know, there's so much preparation and clearly a lot of philosophical life thought that goes into preparing these performances. And let us see, as you say, then it leads up to this one climactic moment. So when you get out there in the minutes and the seconds before it's time to perform, what's going on in your mind? Is that when you clear everything out? Like, how do you actually get ready to get on the microphone?
Oh, that's a lot of things. I just keep thinking of this little girl from Holly Grove, riding her bike, singing with her family, singing, moving to Oakland, then going around the world on bigger stages, and then coming back here, full circle, back home, wanting to show that I am from here too, and to be given that moment. I'm thinking of all that. And then I'm gonna take a breath and I'm gonna sing the mess out of this song here. So that's what I'm thinking about. That's why it's emotional. My grandparents, my family, my cousins, my new family that Troy knows, I call you every time. It's just, I think of family and community. And then I'm thinking, tell the story. That's
beautiful.
it.
You know, someone once told me, they said, I was actually doing an Apple Music interview, Kelly, she said, the space between what comes off of your lips and the way it lands on someone's ear, that's God's space.
Wow.
And when you feel that, when you know this is gonna come off of my lips, and I'm just gonna hope and pray that whatever is translated in that thin veil of time lands on people's ears, that actually elicits some sort of transformation. I think that's, you know, when you talk about it, I'm like, that's the airspace you're working in, girl. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You guys ready? You guys ready for Sunday? Make some noise.
Oh, come on. Thank you.
Now, we actually do have some questions for you all as well from our kid reporters. Are you ready? All right, let's get to our first question. So our first question is from Hayes Adler. Hi, Hayes.
Hello. My name is Hayes Adler. What advice do you have for kids trying to reach their goals?
I think the advice I would say is to make sure whatever it is you're doing that is passionate, that is pure passion behind it, and that should be your passport to see whatever you want to see. You know, don't go for fame or money. Just really love what you do. Practice very hard and just let the passion drive you.
Next, thank you, Hayes. Thank you so much. Next, we have Alvin Williams with a question. Hey, Alvin, how you doing?
Hey, I'm Alvin Williams. I'm a little with Big Brothers and Big Sisters New Orleans. What is one piece of evidence a mentor has shared with you that has stuck with you and you now share with those who you mentor?
You belong. You're worthy. Just study and do your work. Yeah.
Thank you, Alvin. And we have one more question from young Dylan.
Hello, my name is Young Dylan with Nickelodeon. It's very nice to meet you guys. And Nickelodeon wants to know, if you could slime your biggest inspiration, who would it be and why? And this is for all of you.
Well, my biggest inspiration is right here, and I was slime him.
Bring out the slime. Let's go.
We got the slime. I mean, we grew up doing all type of crazy things like that to each other, so it'd be a big payback to him.
Yeah, I slime Troy right back, huh? Listen. Ooh, we got some stories. Yeah, in love, the slime.
Oh, me? I don't know. I've never heard a question like that. But the people I would want to slime, they'd really not be happy about being slimed.
Let us see gets a pass on this one.
Okay, sorry.
I would say my crew. I took my crew to the Atchafalaya Basin. People in this room might not know where that is, but it's around the corner, and I made them jump in the water with alligators. So I feel like it would be on the same level as being slimed. So I'll do it part 2 with my crew.
Thanks for those questions, fellas. Those were
Appreciate
great
you.
questions, guys. Thank you.
Let us see trombone shorty, Lauren Daigle, Jean Baptiste. Thank you so much for spending your time with us, for sharing your heart with us. Looking forward to seeing you perform on Sunday. Go out there and have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Hey. Oh, sorry. Thank you for having us.
Love. Take care. I love you so much.
Bye.
Thank y'all so much. This was awesome. Good to meet you. Thank you. This is great.
Thank you. I'm new here.
Thank you, John. Appreciate you.
The show rolls on.
We can talk about his world-shifting pen, his Pulitzer Prize-winning album, his 22 Grammys, or his seismic impact on music spanning more than a decade.
But nobody can speak for the man better than himself. Please welcome Kendrick Lamar. Well, y'all gotta make some more noise than that.
Good morning.
How you doing?
You know, Kendrick, it's a little bit surreal to actually see you in the flesh because you've always made it a point of just letting the music speak for yourself, which is something I really respect. But the spotlight has been shining so bright for the past few months. I've just been wondering how you've been processing behind the scenes, how you've been feeling about everything happening, all the success.
It's just really just I want to look at it like it's just a continuum of who I am, really. I've always stayed to myself. I've always been in my own bubble, whether it's with the fam or whether it's training. How I process it all is just, I continue to do what I was doing 10 years ago, and that's like, be better in myself, better in the craft, and not look at it as bright lights, you know? Mm-hmm. And it may sound cliche, but it always worked for me, even when I was younger, you know, playing sports or being in the forefront of presentations and stuff like that. It was like, I gotta look at myself in the mirror rather than looking at it as a crowd or, you know, fame and attention.
So now, early days of your career, you know, Section 80 days, even early mixtapes, and you perfecting your craft as an MC. Did you ever think we'd be at the Super Bowl with this?
I wasn't thinking about no Super Bowl.
You never thought about the Super Bowl with this?
I wasn't thinking about no Super Bowl for sure. We was thinking about the best verse and how we gonna split this $5 at Church's Chicken or something like that. It wasn't no Super Bowl. Going to the studio and getting a meal. But I think, well, what I know is the passion I have now is still the passion I had then. And I think that carried on to the Super Bowl. So it was all about being present. As long as I was present in the studio and present in whatever that line was or whatever that mistake was, rapping or doing the hooks or choruses or whatnot, I was present in that moment. I felt that passion. I think being present and not actually foreseeing everything kept me in the grounded state of mind in order to be at, you know, big stages like this.
I think we felt that presence and that focus in your work for the past 15 years. Like Ebro said, going all the way back to projects like Overly Dedicated. And so seeing you perform with Dr. Dre at the halftime show 3 years ago, we already felt like that was the most hip-hop, beautiful halftime show ever. And now for you to come back and be the first solo hip-hop artist to headline, how does it feel being the artist to hit that milestone? And, you know, just your thoughts on what that means about hip-hop's progression and impact over the years.
But that shit, it made me think about, like, the grind of it. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't see like the story before the glory, man. And that shit is like shuffling out your mixtapes and, you know, going to neighborhoods and parties and performing there, hole in the wall spots. It reminds me of the essence and the core response of rap and hip hop and how far it can go. So for me, that should mean everything because it puts the culture on the forefront where it needs to be and not minimized to just a catchy song or verse. This is a true art form. So to represent it on this type of stage is like everything that I've worked for and everything that I believe in as far as the culture. Like, I live and die by it. This shit done changed my whole family life, so I don't take it for granted at all as far as an art form, you know?
It feels like that was a lot what this year was about too, right? Like you, I guess, you know, you took it and put it on your back and you felt like a line needed to be drawn, right? Was that your intent when you rolled out this year? Was like, yo, I'm drawing a line. Like, this is what it is.
My intent was to always keep, I think from day one, was to always keep the nature of it as a sport. You know, I don't care how motherfuckers look at it as far as like, as a collaborative effort, you know, that's cool too, but I love when artists grit their teeth. Like, I still watch battle raps. I still watch Smack URL from Murder Mook to Lux to Tay-Rock, you know, my bro Daylight. This has always been the core definition of who I am, and it's been that way since day one. So I don't think it was a thing for this year. It was always just a continuum. And what I will say about this year, it was more from a space where I think a lot of people was putting rap to the back, and you didn't see that. You didn't see that grit. You didn't see that bite anymore. So I always took that in consideration in going into any type of my music.
That's interesting. So I hope this makes sense, right? You know, we've been following your journey for about 15 years, and you have been so consistent in the messaging and the focus, like you said, and you've always moved with integrity. So in a lot of ways, I feel like we thought we knew exactly who you were as an artist in a positive way. And then last year, it felt like you unlocked a whole new dimension for us. But that person, like you said, was always in there. But I'm wondering, do you still surprise yourself sometimes? Did you surprise yourself last year, or was it just us, the fans, with our jaws on the floor, just stunned?
That's a good question. Surprise myself? Nah, I don't think I surprised myself because this, for me and for my partners that's been around me since 2005, 2006, like my brothers, they know my personality. They know my capabilities, even when it, you know, wasn't presented to the public at first, right? So this is just like a revolving door of what I've been doing in Carson Studios, at the Homie Garage, or my brothers at TDE, or just anybody around the city of Compton in LA. It's just magnified to the level where I've progressed it and you know, did enough hours to know, okay, I know where to place it now. I know how to make it connect with people.
It feels like each album, too, getting to this point was like, it was an album for the culture, and it was an album for the critics. You know what I mean? And then it was for the critics,
yeah.
And then GNX comes along, and it's like, nah. This is an album for anybody, everybody, and anybody who want it at any time. And you brought that energy. And the energy you brought on GNX was an energy that I don't think was really happening in hip hop. Like, it's a Public Enemy level energy. It's a Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted energy.
For sure.
Like, it's a classic, you know, timeless energy. Talk about your headspace between Mr. Morale and this GNX.
Yeah, no, that's great. Go back even further, man. Speaking on that energy, like, it's my cousins was like DJ Quick, you know, and Dre, you know, these folks that my people was playing. So I always had that DNA. And, you know, you heard that DNA a little bit on Good Kid, Mad City, but I wanted to tell my story first, right? And fast forward to GNX, I felt it was just a perfect time because not only the energy was lost, but it was an energy that was bubbling inside of me as well. I wanted to go back to the forefront of just the bite and just the grit of rap, just all raps and hard-ass beats. And that's like the basics for me. I thought about, damn, what I used to like when I was a kid. Hard raps, good beats, that's smacking, right? And it was a great transition from Mr. Morale because that was my most intimate. I wanted to go inside of my own psyche and my own personal withdrawals and see how it connects with the public and who can relate. So during this time around, I think it was necessary of coming out of that cocoon and feeling like, okay, I arrived now. I can spread my wings and show every state of who I am as far as Kendrick Lamar.
And you really did spread your wings. I mean, you just came off a huge Grammy wins. You walked away with 5 awards, and you won Not Like Us won for Song and Record of the Year, which in itself is remarkable. But I think for people who love and respect hip hop and the roots of this culture, the competitive spirit of it, it has been a little bit mind-bending that you created this massive cultural award-winning anthem out of a battle rap song. And how is that something, after you got off that Grammy stage, you got home in some quiet time, what was going through your head?
I was just thinking about the culture, really. It's always that for me first. I'm not even bullshitting with you. It's like, when people talk about rap, man, the conversations I hear, they think it's just rap and it's not an actual art form. So when you put records like that at the forefront, it reminds people that this is more than just something that came 50 years ago. They forget that it's even been here 50 years, right? And like kind of like belittle it. So I love to see that it gets that type of recognition for just straight raps, from awards to the billboards, all that, because this is truly just as big as an art form and a genre as any other genre. So that's what I think about. And I feel accomplished being able to do that. You know, whether somebody else come behind me and do it again and quadruple it, I love to see it. If that was my purpose to do that, then that's exactly what it was for that particular moment.
I think people often miss the significance of that Record and Song of the Year award, because that Song of the Year award is a songwriter's award. Like, it's not just the biggest song. It's like someone wrote a song. And you as a songwriter, when you see your name up there and it's written by Kendrick, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And I think to what you're saying, I think there's a lot of people who have become fans of hip hop, and they you know, you like the songs you hear and know, but you're not actually tapped into the work that it takes for you to generate the output, the art.
Exactly, man. As a writer, you know, and that's what I can appreciate the most. And knowing how much time I dedicated over the years in just trial and error, writing the most terrible shit to some of the greatest shit. You know, we all do it, from writer's block to figuring out how to find inspiration from the most non-popular aspects around me. So it's like, knowing that trial and knowing what I put in as far as my thinking process and what it takes to get there, I do not look at it as a small like endeavor because it's a hit record. No, it's actually some writing in that shit. You know, whether it connect with you on a spiritual level, whether it connect with you on a comedic level, whether it connect with you just on a personal dynamic, it's still from a writer's point of view.
Yeah, you are an incredible writer. There are songs on GNX like Reincarnated. I didn't know what to do with that song for the first few times I heard of it, just trying to figure out where you possibly came up with the inspiration for a record like that. Like, when you're working on those songs, are you going through multiple versions until the right thing comes to you? It's hard to fathom, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, records like that, first off, shout out to Tupac. That's the number one inspiration. That was always one of my favorite records from him and Outlaws. With records like that, it's always going into my mind of like, what if, right? And crafting out my what if ideas to the masses. So when I think about concepts and I think about what I actually believe and what I feel, I just go through a breakdown as if I'm reading a book, you know, and how I want people to hear this from a book sequence. So my initial process is, okay, how can I open them up to the story, and how can I drive them to the ending point to make them feel truly exactly what I'm trying to convey, whether they take their own perspective from it or they take mine. I just want you to feel it first. You know, the writing is there, now it's up to me to perform it to where you can feel it.
Yo, give it up for this guy, Kendrick Lamar. Y'all too quiet, man. This guy, you know, this guy he doesn't sit down and do this too often, so this is a very special conversation. We appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
I really do. And shout to SZA too, because you guys are making history right now.
Hell yeah.
And you've seen her from her humble beginnings like she's seen you from your humble beginnings. You've watched her find success, and now y'all sharing the stage at the Super Bowl. This humongous tour that's rolling out next year. Talk about this moment in both of y'all's career. Have you guys had a chance to even see each other in this moment and be like, yo, like?
We haven't even had a chance to crash out about it because everything been moving fast, like far as production and rehearsals and stuff. So we speak, but we haven't really got a chance to settle into the moment. For me personally, watching her, her career and where she's come from, it's amazing to see. I get to finally see how certain individuals see me come up in the process, because I seen her day one coming in the studio and writing songs, throwing away songs, writing another song, throwing away songs, and songs is hard. And I understood that process, though, wanting to be great. You know, even when we, people saying, this is classic records, you're like, no, I'm gonna write another one. And I understood that and I seen it, so to see it now magnified is like, she always had it, man. She always had it. And I'm just honored to be next to a talent.
Yeah, you've both worked really hard to be here in this moment. And on Heart Part 6 is really amazing to hear you detail that journey for old and new fans, coming up through the ranks at TDE and now launching your own agency, PG Lang. So performing at the Super Bowl halftime show is very much, us as fans getting to celebrate you and this beautiful musical legacy, but also now you're stepping out as an entrepreneur. What has it been like to build your own business and to also showcase some of that creativity from your agency on this platform?
Oh, man, I love the process. Shout out to PG Lang. Make some noise with PG Lang. Yeah, that's my team, man. It's 30 incredible individuals, 5 extraordinary executives that work day in, day out to make sure we are doing something that will long live the culture. From a music standpoint, from a creative standpoint, fashion, film, books, day in, day out of just being around like-minded individuals that have different perspectives outside of just music. So through that process, it was a challenge for me, but even more a process of me enjoying, different ideas and different backgrounds and how to look at things. I love it. Being on calls and, formulating business ideas and ventures outside of my usual norm, it challenges me. And I can't wait to see what happens next. I know it's going to happen next. Yeah.
I think for the audience, too, and anybody watching around the world, the PG Lang thing is I think people see you as an artist and someone who makes music. But I don't know if you want to share it today, but the level of detail that you yourself, along with Dave, and shout to the whole PG Lang team, but y'all as friends that came up together, you in the edits. Like, what we're going to see on Sunday is a PG Lang production.
Yes, that's all PG Lang. That is us sitting day in, day out, from the edits, the production, the stage design, the music, the sound tech. It's everything across the board, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of creative individuals. I can't sit here and say it's all me, because these are people that are just as passionate and want to see us win, but also want to put out something that lives a long, long time. And with Dave's creative mind, it's just, he's insane, man. That dude is like Basquiat in so many different fashions. You can clearly pick his brain about anything, and he'll give you an answer right down the middle to help you decide for yourself. So that's something I can always appreciate.
Yeah, I'd say with all of your powers combined, y'all are really diabolical. Like, when you roll out the videos, all the visuals for GNX, just the way you all move strategically together, it is inspiring beyond the music, you know, just thinking about how to approach life and art in a holistic way. And so when it came down to planning for this Super Bowl now, you know, you've teased on the album coming up to New Orleans with this LA energy. How did you guys approach the show and trying to figure out how to pay tribute to the classics in your catalog with this new music in like a 13-minute set list?
Yeah, it's wild. Mr. Morale is like an hour and 30-minute tour, so it's like you gotta smack the shit down all the way to 13 minutes. It's kind of wild and it's interesting because it lets you know kind of where you at and your perspective on how you think about catalog and the music. For me, I love being present. I love being present, man. It's my favorite. It's very hard for me to live in the past. It's very hard. I respect the past wholeheartedly, but being in the now and being just locked into how I feel and the energy I have now, that's the LA energy for me. That's something that I want to carry over to New Orleans and for the world to see. This is me, this is Kendrick Lamar, 37 years old, and I still feel like I'm elevating. I'm still on the journey though, you know? And I want that energy to, you know, ooze out into the televisions and to the people that's in that building.
Well, and on that, you know, the connection between Black culture and New Orleans and how important and shaping our ancestors were in this town, music, jazz, all that. You always put our culture and Black culture at the forefront of your brand, your music. Same thing in LA. A lot of our family members moved out to California from the South for new opportunities.
Man, what?
There's a big connection between LA and the South. So when you say you walked in to New Orleans with that LA etiquette and all of that, I don't know if people really grasp that, but you got to be feeling that energy.
That's a bar.
Like when you are out ready on Sunday to do your thing.
That's a bar. It's crazy, bro. Out of all my friends, LA, us growing up, all our grandparents either from Louisiana, Texas, Chicago, like, period. So our dialect and how we talk, it gauges from like the South and like the Bay Area. So like going to the store, we say finna. I'm finna go to the store. Like that's some South shit, you know what I'm saying? That's not no LA, right? So that energy right there and you know, making that correlation, it means a lot to me for people to understand that. And the culture and just being Black, I can't help that, man. It's just not something that I think about or even try to like go, I'm Black. Shit, it's just go. It's
in you, it's not on you.
Yeah, it's gonna come out every time. I can't sugarcoat it. You know, I can't downplay it. I'm at a point in my life, I can't necessarily fake the funk for nothing. And I've always had an essence of that, but you know, you have kids and shit. That shit's like, I have to be who I am authentically. And if, you know, the world can't accept that, then so be it. But who rocking with it, I'm gonna put it all the way out there, you know, whether it's in private or whether it's on the main stage.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people and a lot of artists stand in themselves as authentically as you have. And I think one of the questions we've all been wrestling with over the past few months, watching you and the way you've moved, is really what is the role of an artist? And I think lots of people have very different definitions, but young Kendrick, again, back to Overly Dedicated and Section 80 mixtape Kendrick, and GNX Kendrick, Super Bowl, Grammys Kendrick, has your idea of what the role of an artist is, you as an artist, has that ever changed?
I don't think I knew exactly what my role was early on. I had maybe clues of it, but now today I can truly say it's to express myself and express things that people can necessarily say on the daily and for them to actually relate to. And come from the most vulnerable place where people can actually feel it. I think that is, for me, that's the role for me as an artist. I don't give a fuck what place it come from. I could be the most angry person on the record. You gonna feel that shit that day if you woke up and you felt that. You wanna smile, you gonna feel it because I'm gonna make sure I'm present that particular time in the studio, in the booth, that I feel happy and I feel energized and I feel, you know, if I feel frustrated, you gonna feel it. And to carry that as an inspiration for people that's listening that may not have a voice, that, you know, I've grew up with cats, still to this day can't have a conversation. the most meanest, aggressive individuals, but they can't even look you in the eye and express themselves the way they want to. So they resort to other things. And when I think about that, and I know that I have the tools necessary to communicate myself properly and effectively, I gotta do it for them. I gotta make records like Reincarnated. I gotta make records like Man in the Garden. I have to, because they feel that way, but they cannot project it. And when they hear somebody actually giving them affirmations, it allows them to speak more freely and be open, because again, I come from the same place they come from.
Wow, Kendrick, we might not see you outside again soon after Super Bowl. I know, of course, you have the GNX tour. Listen, I know you also don't love doing interviews, but we are grateful. We're so grateful for all the music and the moments that you've given us over 15 years. And in the last year, your presence and your focus, it is noted. So thank you. We really appreciate it. Thanks for taking our questions.
Thanks for fighting for hip-hop, man.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you for fighting for hip-hop.
It is really appreciated.
y'all.
And now, we do have some questions.
Some kids are going to ask
from our
questions,
kid
but
report.
I got one more thing for you, Kendrick, before we go to our friend here, Hayes Adler. What should people expect to see and understand about Sunday's performance?
Storytelling. I think I've always been very open about storytelling through all my catalog and my history of music. And I've always had a passion about bringing that on whatever stage I'm on, whether it's a war tour or whether it's 500 people at Key Club. I've always had a form of that. So I like to be on that sense of, make people listen, but also see and think a little.
I think this is going to be one of those performances where people are going to be digging up Easter eggs for years,
that's the Kendrick
years
thing,
to come, right?
Even when it's not an Easter egg, people going to make one up, right, Ken? Hayes, this is Hayes Adler. He's got a question for you,
What's up,
Kendrick.
man?
Hi, Kendrick.
What's going on?
How do you prepare for such a big performance? Do you have a favorite way to stay healthy and active?
Yeah, I do some laps, whether it's some sprints. If we talking about, let's go from, on the physical level, I give you that. Maybe it's a 2-mile warm-up or a mile warm-up, maybe some push-ups, just to get the body movement. Sometimes you be out on that stage, man, it take you need some oil on your knees a little bit to get moving and get cranky. So physically, I'm just exercising the body, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of all that. And on a mental level, I'm usually playing some Isley Brothers just to calm not my nerves, but calm my excitement and just give it a balance, So that's my prep right before I go out.
Thank you, Hayes. Thank you so much. And now, Alvin Williams. How you doing, sir?
What's up, Kendrick?
What's up, man?
I'm a little with Big Brother and Big Sister New Orleans. What has mentorship meant to you during the course of your career? And if you could thank your mentors for believing in you, what would you say?
Oh, man, mentorship has been everything. To be around individuals that had experienced every little thing that, you think that you're the first person to go through it with, it's a difficult task when you're a young individual, because you're like, shit, you don't know what you're talking about. But as you progress and you be like, damn, he or she was right, you begin to understand life a little bit better and not be so judgmental to people that have been here before you, right? The greatest thing I would say mentors, a couple mentors that given me was like affirmation, and to always give myself space to believe in who I am, even when I wasn't feeling it, right? You can accomplish so many small things or big things, and you still can fall in a slump where you doubt yourself. And even though these mentors haven't seen the spaces and been in the places I've been in, it was always time to allow me to share exactly who I am or how they see me and what I'm capable to give to the world. And I think that goes a long way, from people in the highest places and the lowest places. We all need them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alvin. And we have one more question from young Dylan.
What's up, Mr. Kendrick Lamar?
There you go. That's,
Yes,
that's,
sir.
that's
Yes,
an
sir.
artist right there.
Yes, sir. It's a truly honor to meet you. And my question I have for you is, what advice could you give to kids about not being like anyone else? And how could they stay authentic while pursuing your path?
It's a great question. They said the number one thing people feel in a room, over love and over fear is being authentic. And this my homegirl, Ink, actually, we was talking about this in the studio. She brought us in the studio. And I was like, damn, how many times I've been in a room where people felt you so intensely that it inspired them and it inspired the person next to them and inspired the people in their household. So how to stay authentic? Was that the question? Or you have to believe in yourself and have to know that it's only one you. You're an amazing individual, unique. You're a miracle. I wake up every day and I'm like, this shit is crazy. Not crazy from a standpoint of being a celebrity, crazy, just life. It's just wild. When you really sit down and just think about it and just bug out on some wild it's wild. And to know that you are in this existence and in this world, visual is only you, you have to know that you got to carry that authentic nature of allowing yourself to say, this is who I am, this is how people are going to see me and also going to respect me, and it's going to inspire people to have truth, because when everyone's authentic, what comes out of that is true love. There's no boundaries. We don't have any courtship on judgment. We don't have any perception of being able to ridicule anyone, because you showing up as your true self, I'm showing up as my true self. And carrying that nature, it take you places. Appreciate
His
you.
answers are just as thoughtful as in the music. It's ridiculous. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Kendrick.
Appreciate you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for the great Kendrick Lamar, please. Thank you so much for your work and your dedication.
We
Thank
appreciate you.
Appreciate
Go out there
y'all.
and have fun on Sunday. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. We can't wait to see Kendrick take the Super Bowl halftime show stage. While you wait, you can listen to his catalog in spatial audio.
Now look, shortly after the performance, you'll be able to stream the full halftime show right there on Apple Music. You can listen, you can watch, you can sing, all the things Kendrick all the time on Apple Music. So one more time, for all of you, Kendrick Lamar, thank you for delivering as usual. The show on Sunday is going to be special and amazing, I'm positive. Thank you all so much.